The story is already so sad, but as you dig deeper into it and peel off the layers, it just gets worse and worse. So I want to start this video by just giving my condolences to her family. I want to talk about this in the most respectful way, and I hope you guys will hold that respect in the comments as well. But I do feel the need to make this video because I think a lot of people are going to take this situation and paint all of veganism as something that is very unhealthy and going to cause you to die. And I also don't want people to follow in her footsteps. This is something that needs to be talked about. If you aren't up to date with what's happened, a social media creator, Zana D'Art, who was a raw vegan, recently just died at 39 years old from complications with her diet. Now people are running with this. The headlines are insane. So I want to dig a little bit deeper into this. So let's look at some of the articles that came out on different news outlets. Speaking to a Russian newspaper following the 39-year-old's death in Malaysia on 21st of July, her mother said Samsonova died from a chlorella-like infection that was made worse by her restrictive diet. So if you don't know, chlorella is an acute diarrhea illness caused by infection of the intestine. Now, usually it's pretty mild, sometimes it doesn't even have symptoms, but it can sometimes be severe and even life-threatening if you don't get it addressed. They also claim she had not drunk any water for 6 years, choosing instead to drink only fruit and vegetable juice. I don't know what made her decide to take water out of her diet. Like, there's nothing bad or wrong with water. I mean, I love coconut juice as much as the next person, but I'm probably not gonna drink 2 gallons of coconut juice every single day, you know? So there's been different information on different outlets, and now I wanna read what New York Post wrote. A few months ago in Sri Lanka, she already looked exhausted with swollen legs oozing lymph, one unidentified friend told Newsflash. They sent her home to seek treatment. However, she ran away again. When I saw her in Phuket, I was horrified. Her friend added, I lived 1 floor above her and every day I feared finding her lifeless body in the morning. I convinced her to seek treatment, but she didn't make it. All right, this is really bad because if her friend is literally saying she was afraid to find her dead, then she was in a lot more dire straits than I think people understand, right? Like you don't just, look at your friend who's sick or is under eating or having too much caffeine, whatever, and thinking like, oh, they might die at any moment. You have to be physically showing a lot of symptoms for someone to think like, I'm actually afraid you might die. And it sounds like she did eventually seek medical help, but not before months of ignoring it, right? And her friend said she literally left one place to another place without going and getting this checked out. Meanwhile, a friend claimed that for the last 7 years, Samsonova had only eaten giant sweet jackfruit and durian. That's insane. Now, I wanted to fact check this, so I went on another news outlet, and this one said that she only ate fruits, sunflower seeds, bean sprouts, and vegetable juices. So that sounds more in line with raw veganism, eating lots of different fruits, different vegetables, having some seeds, some, various raw vegetables, things like that. So a huge reason I want to make this video is because to the uninformed who won't look past the headline of the story, they're gonna blame her death on veganism, and they're gonna use this story as evidence that a vegan diet cannot be healthy. Look at these comments. One guy comments, she had an eating disorder called veganism, a diet that is deficient / hard to obtain or not in the correct balance of plus 20 nutrients. It's not appropriate for our species. Another girl commented, she said, girls, stop being vegan. I had to help so many ex-vegan women with severe nutrient deficiencies. Now there's so many more comments like these. These are all throughout her page now, and people are already using her story as an example of why veganism is not good. Here's another comment from Misfit Vegan, who is a raw vegan. She said, rest in peace to this beautiful soul. I'm just coming here because so many people will think it's the raw food that killed her. I assure you it was not. I have been raw vegan since 2011. I'm not deteriorating or starving or suffering in any way. I was when I ate meat and dairy for 26 years. This woman died of starvation due to an eating disorder, not due to a raw food diet. So I want to make the point, I'm not attacking raw vegan diets or raw vegans. Here's how I feel about raw veganism. I think that it can be healthy, but it has to really be dialed in even more than a regular vegan diet. The amount of attention you have to give your diet as a raw vegan is on the same level to me as the amount of attention an athlete puts into planning out their training every single week. Most people won't or cannot give those levels of attention. You aren't going to strap a backpack on somebody and let them climb Kilimanjaro by themselves. They're probably not going to plan for it right. They aren't going to know what to do when problems arise. And that's my problem with the raw vegan diet. It's that most creators are not emphasizing the amount of care and attention you need to take to plan your diet to avoid deficiencies. And so people, they'll see these beautiful, dishes, lots of colorful food, fruit, vegetables everywhere. They see the idealistic traveling lifestyle. A lot of raw vegans and a lot of vegans in general travel everywhere. They have this very sexy life, beautiful people, right? Very attractive bodies and faces. And then the viewer says, you know what? That looks great. I'm gonna go raw vegan too. And that leads to what happened here. A lot of the times people develop an eating disorder, or they already have an eating disorder, and raw veganism just sort of aligns well with their eating disorder and kind of gives them an excuse. So a lot of you guys know I've been vegan for 8 years, and not raw, just normal cooked food vegan, but I've known tons of different types of vegans, and I've had quite a few different raw vegan friends in the past. I've actually spent a lot of time with these raw vegans, and without going really into detail of who I'm talking about, these raw vegan friends of mine, I watched them eat for a whole week while we were living together, and I would see things like taking half of an avocado and putting it inside of a leaf or two of romaine lettuce, sprinkling some chopped up tomatoes on it, and then eating that. And then that was lunch. And then that person wouldn't eat for another 6 or 7 hours. And then when it came time for dinner, you would think they need tons of calories, right? They haven't eaten much. And then they would make something like a salad made of alfalfa sprouts and tons of different vegetables cut up, carrots and tomatoes and all that kind of stuff. That bowl at the end of the night couldn't have been more than 400 or 500 calories, and I think that's being generous. Now, these friends that I'm talking about are no longer vegan because they ran into health problems and then they blamed it on a vegan diet, and even started making content talking about how for them a plant-based diet didn't work. And people have used these examples to prove that veganism is not healthy, it's not good, and your health comes back when you go ex-vegan, and as soon as you have some meat or you have some eggs or some fish or whatever, you start feeling amazing again. But in all honesty, what's really happening is these people have eating disorders, are eating almost no calories, and of course they're gonna run into deficiencies, right? And so then when they start to reintroduce foods that have a lot more calories, have a lot more fat in them, they're gonna feel the benefits of just having more calories, but they're probably also gonna get a lot more of the vitamins and minerals that they were deficient in the first place. The thing that makes no sense and kind of irritates me is that when somebody who's not vegan dies from any host of health problems and complications, you don't have headlines, you don't have people yelling out that a non-vegan diet is the cause of all these health problems, is going to kill you, all this stuff. No problem. Just standard diet, standard American issues. But when it's a vegan, then the magnifying glass comes out, and then everybody points out this one example is the reason that everybody shouldn't be vegan, when there are millions of other examples of people thriving on a vegan diet, like myself, man, coming up on a decade. And so this is a very sad but cautionary tale about taking an honest look at your diet, addressing any vitamin, mineral deficiencies, and not ignoring health issues that come up, because I understand people intend to push those concerns to the side to help the animals by not, painting a picture that they have any problems from the vegan diet. But when you have to quit veganism due to a health problem that you pushed to the side for too long, or God forbid, something much worse like this happens, it just gives so much fuel to the arguments and excuses against veganism, and it ultimately harms way more than it helps. Honestly, I think sometimes as social media creators, we forget how much of an impact we have on other people and how much people sometimes will idolize or follow in your footsteps. And if we aren't taking care to take care of ourselves, and we end up in bad situations because of the way we're eating, and we have loads of people who are following us for advice on how to eat, we are going to lead those people astray. We're going to lead those people to have health issues. And that is where veganism and content creation sometimes I think can be very, very harmful. So I don't usually do a lot of commentary videos like this, but I really felt called to talk about this one. I want to know what you guys think about this situation. So please keep it respectful, but let me know what you think in the comments below. And of course, subscribe if you haven't subscribed already, and I will see you guys in the next video.